Everybody's staring for days. All they see is just a young, pretty face. But I'm trying to get to know you much better. Don't matter how much time it will take. But there's something you're trying to hide. There's something you're keeping inside. But I'm trying to get to know you much better. Don't matter how much time it will take.
All right. Welcome to I Am That Girl podcast. And this is episode 1 of season 1. And I thank you all for joining us today. So as you've read, my very first guest is none other than Mr. Greg DeVille of DeVille Realty Group. So, man, I'm so excited. Welcome.
Thank you, babe. I'm glad to have you. She introduced me like I'm not a husband. By the way, I am the husband of the beautiful, the lovely, the queen, Marquetta DeVille, and I Am That Girl show. So I'm delighted to be here on this very special day, her very first show. Yes.
So today we are we have some major things happening, right? And as we kick off I'm That Girl podcast, I thought who better to bring on than Mr. Greg DeVille, my husband, on my very first podcast. And we're going to discuss some things we have coming up. But before we get started with that, today in the city of Las Vegas, today is Greg DeVille Day.
Greg DeVille Day. Who would have ever imagined that just doing what you love to do would get you honored with a day by the city of Las Vegas. I am honored to have my queen alongside with me. She has worked with me through the years, and she keeps putting up with me. And the city has granted me a day, and she has made it special. And starting her very own podcast on the day, the Greg DeVille Day. So this is making history, everybody. So thank you, sweetie. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course.
Yes.
So thank you so much for joining me today.
Yes.
So for all you out there that are listening, this is episode 1 of season 1 of I'm That Girl podcast. And I am your host, Marquetta DeVille of DeVille Realty Group. So as I said, my first guest today is Mr. Greg DeVille, and we wanted to share with the Valley who we are, right? Who are the DeVilles? You know, a lot of people look at us and they're like, hey, I know the DeVilles, and you know, they look at the cars or the houses and different things like that. But we want to encourage our community and let you guys really get an insight on the DeVilles, right? But before we go into our story, I would like to, Greg, just to take maybe a minute or two, just kind of tell us who you are. Who are you, Greg DeVille? Who is Greg DeVille?
All right. So many of you know me as the broker, but I'll tell you what, I'm an associate pastor here at Bonded Free Worship Center. You know, I love my community. I come from South Central Los Angeles before I moved here to Las Vegas, but I'm from Lake Charles, Louisiana. I'm a Southern boy, and my roots have come through California. I've been here in 20 years in Las Vegas. You know, I've struggled over the years. I've had some addictions that I've had to overcome. I'd like to thank God, 22 years this past November of just getting the opportunity to be in sobriety. So it's been wonderful. 10 years of it has been spent with my darling wife, Marquetta DeVille. It's been absolutely a fun ride. We've had some hiccups and some bumps in the road and some bump your heads and some hurt your fingers and some kick your toes on the end of the bed rail days, right? But nonetheless, we live to tell the story. I really enjoy helping the community. I've been in real estate over 40 years. I was talking to someone today. Shout out to the gas station, Mr. Gaston over there. We were talking. I told him, you know, I'll be 58 years old the end of February, which is next month. I'll be 58 years old. And he said, wow, really? So That's right. I'll be 58. I'm 57 years old, and I have uh, my wife has made sure that I take good care of myself. She's made sure that I eat right and somewhat get some exercise. But it's that's who I am. As Greg DeVille, your community partner. Anything you got, I love supporting the community. I love creating wealth through equity um, with the Valley everywhere I can. And so that's exciting to me. Thank you.
And that's why we have Greg DeVille Day, okay? Las Vegas and all neighboring cities. This is why we have Greg DeVille Day. As Mr. DeVille, my husband, my first guest on my podcast, I want to thank you today for taking time out of Greg DeVille Day to share with the launch of my podcast.
Right.
Giving me an opportunity to share your day. It's amazing. And that's who we are, right? We're in the community and we work together. We work with you. We love what we do at the end of the day. And that's why we are here. So I wanted to, as we get going on, some major opportunities that we have coming up, we wanted to share our story. So let's talk about it. Hey, Big Will, tuning in on Facebook. Thank you for tuning in with us today. So first of all, 10 years ago, my husband and I met at church, right?
Yep.
We met at church 10 years ago and we started dating, and here we are today. We're the power couple of Las Vegas, right? But to really get into the meat and potatoes, a lot of times when we meet clients, we tell them that they just get into a home and they're like, what? But where do we start? Right?
So I'm going to let my wife go get the door. We have a guest, a special guest coming to the studio. She's going to get that. When we talk about real estate, what we're talking about is getting everyone their first opportunity. Of course, this is our first podcast, right? So we're going to have some hiccups. Grandkids are here, whatever else my wife is doing, and then decide to do a podcast. So I don't know, but nonetheless, so we want to help families learn to create generational wealth, right? That's our main goal, is to give you the opportunity to have your own. I always talk about how when you're paying somebody else's mortgage, right, you're creating wealth for their pocket.
Let's go back really quick.
Go ahead. Sure.
So 10 years ago, when we first got married, I was living in, what is that, like Northwest Aliante or whatever, right? And we had to make a decision. We knew that we needed to get into home ownership,
right,
and start to create generational wealth. And at that time, I was working at Lens Crafters. And
shout out to Lens Crafters.
Woo, woo. I was working at Lens Crafters, and
right.
We had to make a decision to move into Regular Estates.
Right.
And so for you all that don't know, Regular Estates is an older community, North Las Vegas, in North Las Vegas, right on the cutoff of West Las Vegas. But at that time, moving into Regular Estates gave us the opportunity to grow together, right? It gave us an opportunity to save money. And we had a plan when we moved into Regular Estates. We had a plan to get into home ownership. So we did what was best for us at the time to just get into home ownership. And what we were able to do from moving there, we later went on and rented a home in Centennial Hills.
Right.
We rented that home for 3 years. We
paid $54,000. Talk about it.
Let's talk about it. We gave our landlord $54,000, right?
Over 3 years.
Over the 3-year period.
$1,500 a month.
$1,500 a month. We gave our landlord $54,000. So when you hear us talk about, just get, sometimes you have to make a sacrifice to get into home ownership or to go where you want to go. so if that sacrifice for many of you, sometimes it is to move into an older community, a less desirable area. That's what it comes with. But that sacrifice gave us an opportunity to rent for 3 years. We paid our landlord $54,000. But after that 3-year period was over, we moved into our own home. And so at that time, we purchased our home for $300,000, right? We did a appraisal on our home back about a year ago. And our home today appraises at about 517. So why are we telling this story? It's because we like to say we started from the bottom. It wasn't always taking cruises, going out of town.
It wasn't being the power couple of Las Vegas.
It was not. It was being the get out there and grind until you make it happen couple at one point, right?
It's still on the grind.
We stay on the grind.
Yeah, we still on the grind. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm leaving here to go show a house later on.
But at the end of the day, we made a sacrifice that was best for our family at the time. So for our family, we made that sacrifice. So today, we're able to have assets and we're able to have a home. We're able to have something that we can leave to our children and our children's children.
That's the word.
So yes, generational wealth, right?
That's right.
Proverbs 13:22 says a wise man leaves an inheritance to his children's children.
That's it.
So
your grandkids.
All right. Yes.
That's what you hear in the background is our grandkids are here. I don't know why her first cash she would have them, but
it's Greg DeVille Day, y'all.
She love those grandbabies, man. They've been on Greg DeVille. She's bringing in those babies. So
yes, because they needed to celebrate with
honey,
Pawpaw.
I have on a blue shirt and you have on pink on your Gurl deal.
Mm-hmm.
And you have on pink and I have on blue. Look at this.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It looks great.
That's pretty.
That's all it means.
Just like you. Look at that. It's beautiful, everybody. Look at that.
So let's talk about, that's where we started, right? We started making a sacrifice so that we can speak to so many of you out in the community. So we wanted to share our story today on the podcast. Not only did we want to share our story, we also want to talk about some things that we have coming up. So as many of you've seen on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, you name it, it's out there. We are putting on the Wealth Mindset Conference, Las Vegas, in April on the 16th. If it's you, if it's your brother, your sister, coworker, whoever it is,
cousin and them,
because you need to be in the house April 16th and join us with the Wealth Mindset Conference. What this conference is going to do for you is going to help you get rid of your limited thinking, your limited mindset. Many of you think, well, my mom didn't own a home. My sister didn't own a home. My mom's mom didn't own a home. So I'm probably not going to own a home. That's not true.
Hey, look, we just sold this person. Her name is Lavinia, right? She said she got her keys about 3 weeks ago on a Friday night. She says, Mr. DeVille, I want to thank you for the talk show that you've done at the local radio station, 88.1. She said, I'm the first generation to own a home besides my great grandmother. She said, I'd be the first one in my generation to own a home. That's what we're talking about. That's what all this is about, is empowering generational wealth, how to create wealth through equity, because you're already doing it. Mm-hmm. You're doing it every month. You pay rent. You're creating wealth, but you're doing it for someone else. So we try every media, social media, any way we can get the word out to create the wealth in your life. So we bought this house, as she forementioned. We owed $268. We got it appraised at $517. You know that middle number over $200,000 is equity, and that's what we want you to do. And we're the leading example of how to create equity and wealth through the equity, how to do it. So God has made us to lead the path. But we have to hear from you to help you get to that place. Because listen, if you're renting at $1,800 a month and you've been there 1 year, that totals $21,600. So guess what? If you've been there 5 years, you've given $108,000 at $1,800 a month. you paid the landlord $108,000. Now, that's in 5 years. Now we're on a new year. You stay one more year at paying $1,800 a month, you will have paid $129,600 to your landlord. At $1,800 a month for 6 years, 129. We've got to make a point. We've got to draw a line in the sand and say, enough of giving my wealth away. Take the opportunity. We're here to help you. We have no money down programs if you need it. If you've got a 401k, I've got programs at a 580 with a 401k. If you got money saved up, we can get you a great interest rate. Or if you're a veteran, we can get you in at a low 500. There is so much that we want to talk about, and we're doing it today on the Greg DeVille Day, on my wife's very first podcast. And it's starting in 2023, January. That's one we're excited about it. So, but I've got to get that passion out because it's birthed in me, honey. And every chance, every platform I can share it, I want to make sure we're getting that word out. You're doing wonderful, honey. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for the platform.
Of course. So as I said, we're working on the Wealth Mindset Conference, and we would like for you and your family and your friends to join us April 16th. So a couple of questions that I would like to bounce off of you while we have some time left here on the podcast today.
Okay.
So let's talk about the vision of the Wealth Mindset Conference, because we haven't even given you guys the icing on the cake for this conference. Yes. So, I mean, should we go into that right now? Should we talk?
Sure. You know, one of the reasons I wanted, so let's explain the Wealth Mindset Conference. We're having a breakout session, right? So we'll come in, the men are going to break out in their session, the women will have their session. In the men break, what the whole purpose and vision entail was that men would be empowered to go beyond what they've even imagined or dreamed, to birth what's in you to the fruition, right? To birth what's in you so that you can get to the place where you can start producing your own vision. Many of you are pregnant with vision, and you need somebody to help you be a midwife, to help you learn to push and bring birth to that vision that's in you. You got a 9-to-5, but there's so much greater in you. And this vision is this wealth mindset is to put you in the mindset that you can do it too.
To help you get rid of the limited vision, the limited being
limited in your vision.
Yes. So that is what the Wealth Mindset Conference is. And just to give you guys a little background about the Wealth Mindset Conference. So last year, I went to a conference. I was recently honored with one of the top 50 women to watch. And so at that conference,
wonderful.
Thank you.
Yes.
At that conference, it really helped me do a self-discovery. And from that, I came back and I said, God, if you provide the resources, I'm running with whatever you put in my heart and my spirit to do. And so the Wealth Mindset Brunch series started. And so when I started that, I said, okay, God, next year, the Wealth Mindset Brunch series will be a Wealth Mindset Conference. And so once my husband said, well, you know, there's not too often that there's a conference for men. He said, I want to do a conference. And so as we were sitting and we were talking, we decided, why not make it a wealth mindset conference and do it for men and women?
So actually, Marquetta came up with the idea to collaborate together, because I was adamant about doing it back in September to do it in January. But I'm in the midst of writing a book. And she said, honey, you won't have your book done. And she said, you got a lot on your plate. She says, and she had hers in mind for April. And she said, why don't you join me and let's collaborate, and you bring your men's conference to my women's conference. I say, but I have to have my conference on a Sunday. I need to start at 12 o'clock when churches are out. I need to be able to relate to my barbers, my nail tech, my Republic serve, those that work on a Saturday. My mindset was to get to those individuals who typically would miss a Saturday event because they're working. So Sunday from 12 to 6, line up a powerhouse. We were just discussing with Mr. Les Brown, gave us the opportunity to reach his daughter and get her locked in as our keynote speaker.
Woo!
So it's exciting.
We're not gonna walk right past that.
Yeah,
we're not gonna walk right past
Mr. Les
that.
Brown has said,
So,
look, I want to interview you all and put it on my social media. So we're working directly with Mr. Les Brown here shortly to promote this event. It's going to be, we've got a lineup of guests.
Dynamic speakers.
It's wonderful. I'm saying today, if you're listening to me, go to Greg DeVille, get to that Facebook link, get that QR code, and listen, there's a 15% discount today only.
Let's get to the
today
money.
Only. Yes. 15% off a VIP ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Get that QR code, scan that code, and that code is, it's in the Facebook. So go to Greg DeVille.
The code for your 15% off just today for Greg DeVille Day is capital G, capital D, capital D, capital A, capital Y, and the number 17. So it's GD Day for Greg DeVille Day, 17.
Right.
And that code will give you 15% off of your VIP admission. Yes. And like we said, we have Miss Dr. Anna Brown joining us as our keynote speaker.
Yes.
And as a VIP guest, you also get access to the private meet and greet the day before the conference with Dr. Brown. So you will get an opportunity to ask questions and just to fellowship and network with Dr. Brown a day early. Yes. So I am so excited for this conference. Not only do we have Dr. Anna Brown, we have some heavy hitters right here from the city of Las Vegas.
All right.
Let's talk about it. We got Miss Alicia Taylor. If you don't know Alicia Taylor, you need to Google her today. Alicia is dynamic. She's great at what she does in the loan industry.
And she's a real estate broker.
Yes, okay? Yes. So Alicia is that girl in the real estate market, okay? We have Dr. Desiree King. Phenomenal story and, true, what is it?
She's going to be hosting your event, right?
She's going to be hosting, but she brings a different type of energy.
Yes.
When Desiree speaks, Dr. Desiree King speaks, you act, okay? You act. And then we have Yolanda Smith out of Indianapolis. Yeah. I'm tongue-tied. I done got that excited.
Yes.
Another dynamic speaker, she helps you discover you. So when we're talking about the wealth mindset, she helps you really dive in and discover who you are. If it wasn't for the conference that I went to last year, I wouldn't be sitting here today. I wouldn't have got up on stage last week, and being brave and bold and getting on that stage gave me the opportunity to directly meet Les Brown. And from meeting Les, I was able to bring his daughter to our conference with the help of our event producer, Vanguardian Global. Let me not forget to shout out Vanguardian Global. We love you. We love you. We love you.
White Robinson.
Yes, Miss Tasha White Robinson and her team. They are doing their thing to make this conference dynamic.
Yes.
And to go through a couple, and then we have Jewel out of Chicago, Illinois.
She's a jewel.
She is a jewel. She's
in conference right now.
Yes.
With Crawford.
Yes.
Brenda Crawford right now. I think they're in Atlanta right now doing a conference. She'll be doing, so we'll be Zooming everybody shortly. But I want to say that for our men,
let's talk about the brothers.
Will Roundtree. Well-rounded brother, very sharp, very smart. Listen, Robert Twix Taylor, talking about that entrepreneurship, multi-stream level income. If you know Robert, he's all over, right? He's doing it. He's got multi-stream. He's coming to encourage you with that. We're talking about, so Mr. Will Roundtree with the paradigm shift. We're talking with Robert Vernon Fox, former NFL.
Yes, the art of the pivot.
The art of the pivot. We've got Mr. Josh Igiliki, who's going to talk to you about estate planning. I've got Mr. Ernest Del Casal talking about equal rights for divorced fathers. We've got information that's going to empower, encourage, and enlighten you to bring your level and step your game up so that this year, 2023, you're going in with a bang. All right.
Yes.
So thank you, honey, for inviting me to your show.
And we will not forget Mr. Marcus Carter from Chicago, Illinois, the Black Wealth Builder.
Ooh,
yes, he is dynamic. Ooh. So as we get to wrap up today, look, I will be back next week with none other than Mr. Shondell Newsom speaking in regards to wealth versus welfare. This podcast is geared to help you all get rid of your limited vision, limited mindset, and go on to create generational wealth. I thank you guys for tuning in today. I ask that you follow us so that you can tune in to each and every episode. This season is going to be bananas when I tell you the lineup is crazy. But you can follow me on all social media platforms at I Am That Girl Podcast or on Twitter at I Am That Girl Media. No, I'm that. Okay, let's forget about Twitter right now. I forgot the name. But either I'm That Girl Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or you could just follow me at Marquetta DeVille on all social media platforms, and you will get an opportunity to tune into all of the podcast episodes. Again, thank you, Mr. DeVille, for being my special guest today. You can find him on all social media platforms at Greg DeVille. And you can also reach us at our office at 702-515-4100. Again, 702-515-4100. We love you, Las Vegas. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to speaking with you all next week on I'm That Girl Podcast with your host, Marquetta DeVille.
Sponsored by DeVille Realty Group, LLC.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
All right, Facebook. So you all very well. We thank you so much for tuning in. We are excited about what's to come. It's going to be a great event. Just